The local bourse is firmer so far today, with its global peers mixed as investors digest the timeline for how the U.S. Federal Reserve might taper its asset purchase program. But to help us talk through the latest business news, we're joined now by Mr. Viv Govender, who is Portfolio Manager at Rand Swiss. Mr. Govender, very good afternoon to you. If you could just take us through how the markets are performing so far today.
The markets are up. The different sectors are slightly mixed. We are seeing resources perform really well, up quite nicely. However, financials are down at the moment. The rand is a little bit stronger. They've broken the 1480 level. It's about 1477 at the moment. It's been trading between about 1440, 1450, and just above 15 for the last few months. But more recently, in the last couple of days, it has been getting slightly stronger. In terms of the global market, yes, as you mentioned, we are trying to digest what the Fed is saying around tapering. Tapering in the U.S. is basically due to start in like a month or so's time, the end of the year, basically, which is, of course, to be anticipated. These are some extraordinary measures, and we cannot basically expect them to continue indefinitely. We are also seeing at the moment the U.S. Unemployment rate being reasonably low, though the fact of that is that the number of people employed is still quite low as well. That's more due to, I think, to the fact that many people have decided not to go back to work as opposed to the lack of jobs available, also indicating that it's probably reasonable to start raising interest rates or at least reducing some of the monetary policy that the U.S. is seeing. Locally, expectations are probably for rates to be starting to rise at least by the start of next year, even maybe by the end of this year. And I think that's something that we're going to be seeing globally. In fact, several countries already have started raising interest rates.
Now, earlier today, we saw MTN announcing that its stake in IHS Towers is priced at 26.3 billion rand in IPO. Is that a reasonable pricing?
Well, you must understand with the IPO, usually they price slightly lower because you're not selling every share, you're not selling your entire stake, you're selling a small piece out there to get a market price for what you basically hold. You would anticipate if this is a good IPO valuation, that you'd probably see it rise quite significantly in the first couple of days. After the IPO, and so it's probably a bit under playing the value of this holding, but it's normal practice among these IPOs. You want to get a feel good, look at the old famous IPOs out there. You usually have a bit of a feel good spike up in the first couple of days or first couple of weeks of trading where people say, oh, this is a very powerful share, it's going up quite nicely, and you may be sacrificing a bit of value in terms of how much you're basically getting for the shares you are selling. But it is a common practice that we have seen in the market in the past. So probably we are going to see the shares go up a little bit, indicating that it was probably underpriced at the 26 billion.
Now, Robex expects its earnings per share as well as its headline earnings per share for the 6 months ended 31st of July 2021 to be at least 123 cents and 117 cents respectively. What is your assessment of those numbers?
Those are reasonably good numbers. Robex has done really well. It's shown a nice little recovery for quite some time now. Look, we are seeing infrastructure bills going up across the world. We expect that to happen in South Africa as well. It's been my thesis for quite some time that after COVID, create more activity in the economy was to basically say the spending is for infrastructure. In the U.S., they've classified virtually everything as infrastructure, whether it is basically building a road or a bridge or providing healthcare or basically kindergarten services for children. They're all classified under infrastructure just because the term is politically positive. Robex has benefited from that. Its various operations are doing quite well based on this, and probably will do well going into the future if we do see a large infrastructure bill come in for South Africa, as government has promised in the past.
Now, motor trade sales have increased by 12.4% year-on-year in the month of August. What were the main drivers of that growth, and does this perhaps signal some recovery in consumer behavior?
Well, firstly, you must look at what last year looked like. It was August, and we were just basically going to lockdown, what was it, about 4 or 5 months earlier. So it is, a very strange period of time. Many people were still uncertain about what's happening in their lives, in their, the pocketbooks, etc. We are seeing a bit of recovery in the economy overall. I mean, the IMF has put our growth rate for this year up at 5%, up from their predictions in, I think, July by about 1% extra. We are seeing, recoveries globally as well that are reasonably strong, and we would anticipate, consumers would be reflecting that as well. At the same time, the rand is a bit stronger right now than it was last year, which would indicate that we are seeing, probably imported vehicles be slightly cheaper, which would obviously be another big positive in terms of car sales as well.
We'll leave it at that for this afternoon. Mr. Viv Govender, Portfolio Manager at Rand Swiss, thank you for taking us through the markets and how they are performing on this Thursday afternoon.